I've been saying this quite a bit, and we've been talking about some different ideas in here, but I'm always going to be in this group. I'm always going to be sharing some nuggets. I'm always going to be adding value, because that's just how you win. That's how you win at life. That's how you win in this business. And I want to show you guys that even though I'm not giving you guys leads, I'm giving you exactly what you want, what you're looking for. You're only in this group for one reason. You're interested in this business model, whether you're looking to see if it's something you want to get into, if you're looking to get some more tips and tricks, whether it's whatever the case is, you're here for one reason, whether it's to make money. And so I know what you want, right? Just like we know what our business owners want. They want to make money. And in order to make money, they need leads. And so what we do is we do what everyone else is not willing to do. And we give them exactly what they want before we even ask for money. We let them test it risk-free. And then that's so much easier to transition them into a paying client. And guys, I'm not pulling any punches. That's what I'm doing here, right? I'm on this call every single week. I'm giving you guys value. I've been there. I've done that. I've been negative 60, $1,000 in the hole doing this business model straight up. I've also made up to $125,000 per month doing this business model. I'm still doing this business model. We're still adding clients. We're still doing deals. We're still testing new niches. And so I'm just sharing what has worked for me, what's currently working. Things are changing. Google My Business is changing. Ads are changing. Niches are changing. Everything's changing. It's exciting. It's frustrating. It's all the above. And I'm here to share it with you guys. But make no mistake, I want you guys to pay attention to what I'm doing. I say this almost every week. I'm never going to get on here and hide and say, yeah, I'm not here to sell you anything. I am, man. I'm here to sell you something. I'm not going to try to sell it to you first. Okay. I am here to sell you something. I want every single one of you guys that ends up getting into this business model to come through my program. I want every single one of you guys that applies, that qualifies, that we feel is a good fit to come through Digital Landlords, to get into the inner community, to get the perfect recipe, to getting deals, to get the script, to figure out the due diligence process, to let me give you the knowledge of $1.45 million in ads, 7 years of making the mistakes, $60,000 in debt. I want to be able to give that to you for you guys to be able to pay me because I've already paid the piper, and for me to selfishly be able to help you guys make money, because nothing is more of a flex, in my opinion, than being like, yeah, this person that I helped with my training is making $30,000 a month. Because everybody knows if they're making $30,000 a month, you're making far more. Right? It's like the ultimate flex. And so I'm not ever going to be the guy or the person that's going to say, I'm trying to sell you something. So all 10 of you, all 11 of you that are on here, if that's like annoying for you that I say that, then I'm sorry, but that's just how it is, right? It's the truth. I am here. I'm going to give you guys this call right here is my free leads, like we do with the business owners. I'm going to show you what I'm about. I'm going to drop some nuggets on you. I'm going to be bringing on a guest here in a moment, somebody that's gone through our program, somebody that's gotten deals, somebody that's making money doing the exact process. And you guys are going to, through that, you're going to see some social proof. You're going to see that it's not just me. It's not just Porter. It's not just Kyle. It's not just Eugene. It's not just Patrick. It's not just Jerry Ward. It's not just Borhan. It's every single person from every walk of life, whatever language they speak, whatever accent they have, whether they're male, whether they're female, whether they have a job, whether they don't, whether they're mom, doesn't matter. You can make money doing this business. Okay. So make no mistake. Really quick, for those of you that are in the UK, as I said last week and the week before, we are starting to focus, we focused very much on different niches, but now I'm starting to see like there's a huge opportunity. There's huge opportunities in different parts of the world, right? And to me, the UK is such an opportunity. It makes total sense. I actually know people that are making a ton of money. In fact, you two guys just reminded me, actually, you didn't remind me of anything, but I just thought I just thought of something I need to do. I'm going to write it down real quick so I don't forget. But I know people are making huge money in the UK. And so one of the things that we want to do is we know that the business model is the same. You build a website, you rank it, you sell the leads, you rent the website out. That's the whole thing. Okay. But there are nuances in every country. There's different call forwarding providers. There's different lead services. Home advisors, not in every country. There's different ways of doing things. Certain services are called different things in different countries. We want to figure out all those nuances. And so we're putting together like a leadership team in the UK. This is kind of our trial run. And if this works really well, we're going to do the same thing in different countries. But for those of you that did not yet apply, that are in the UK, I'm gonna see if I can find this link, and I'm gonna see if there's any last stragglers that are in the UK. And if you guys spend at least 3 months in the UK, you qualify. If you don't, I don't care if you're from the UK, you have to live in the UK. Um, actually, I think if you're from the UK and you don't live there, it would work because you would know the nuances. But ideally, you live there currently. Okay, give me 1 second here. I'm gonna just share this link one more time. And that's for anybody that's in the UK or spends at least 3 months there that wants to apply. Where the hell's it at? Hold on. Hang tight. And I'm going to bring our guest on and we're going to get going here. Give me 1 second. Where's this thing at? Hold on 1 second. Where are we at, dude? Okay, there it is. Beautiful. I'm going to share it one more time and then we're done talking about it. But here we go. I just saw that comment. Okay. James says at least Americans aren't afraid to spend on their business. A little different over here. I understand that, James. I do understand culturally, like that's I lived in Africa for the last 3 months, and then I spent 3 weeks in London, and I understand it is different. However, I think it would be naive, and I think it would be short-sighted for us just to throw in the towel. Okay, because even if people are not they're a little bit apprehensive. They're a little bit, I guess we could say a little bit more guarded with their money. And that is true. I could agree with that. That doesn't mean we can't make a lot of money. And to me, I'd rather go into some kind of a blue ocean that's completely open, even if I have to charge less money, make less money, but I have no competition, than go into this huge competitive space. And that's the truth. Okay. That's the truth. I'm much more interested in that. That's why I think there's still an opportunity, because I'm not disagreeing with you, but you're completely right. Let's see. Marcus said, I would watch, but I can't handle an Alabama shirt. I gotta go. Tiger bait. I love it. I love it. Sorry, bro. I'm sorry. And you know what the truth is, dude? I'm actually more of a Nick Saban fan than I am an Alabama fan. That's the truth. I don't know how I'm gonna feel this year, but I do love watching winners win. So sorry about that, bro. That's funny that he said that though. Okay, and then the comment of the day, which I think somebody, oh, right there. Herman says, I thought the homie had braids. LOL. No, yo. It's just that, I'm throwing it back to like the early 2000s, throwing in a woman's hair braid because my hair, if I swear to you guys, if you saw when I don't do this, it's so curly and long. It looks like a Maui off of freaking Moana. Okay. That's the truth. Guys, last thing I want to do really quick. Quick shout out to my man, Nick Ford. If you guys didn't see, I did an interview with him like I think about a month ago, maybe six. It was about maybe 6 weeks to 8 weeks ago. Nick Ford, and if I remember his story correctly, he had a military background, I believe. I think it was him that was a military background. Anyway, the guy it has a great job. He's got kids. It's like a busy guy. And he got in, he's doing his thing, he's making money. But shout out to Nick Ford, got his second deal, $1,000 a month. So yeah, people are making money, guys. It's crazy because I look around and everyone's like recession this and recession that. Guys, business has never been better for me. Okay. And I'm telling you that to hopefully inspire you, not to like shove it in your face. But if business has never been better for me, and I know people in the same boat, it's never been better than it is right now. Who cares about the recession? Quit paying attention to that kind of stuff. Let's just focus on what we can control. And guys, no matter what, no matter how much of a recession we're in, people still need leads. People still need business. People are still trying to survive. People still have to pay their bills. And so don't be a cop out and say, oh, it's the recession or all this or people aren't whatever. And like James, you made a good point. Yes, in the UK, people aren't as open with their money necessarily, but that doesn't mean you can't go charge 75% as much as you can charge here, and you can go and have zero competition, right? Or 10% of the competition or 50% of the competition. And I think the numbers still work. And so that's why I'm super interested in it. Okay. Guys, I'm going to bring on our guest. As you guys can see in the title, let me see. I don't even know where I wrote the title, but basically, where did I write the title at? I'm gonna read the exact title that I gave to you guys. Hold on. Okay. Okay. We're going to talk today. This is what we named this based on the angle that we're going to take with this interview today is from ranking other people's websites to slinging your own deals. Okay, that's what we're going to be talking about today. And I want to mention one thing before I bring on our special guest. Guys, just so you know, the reason that I bring on guests is, a couple weeks ago, I sent out a survey and I said, hey, whatever you guys, I want to get your feedback. Tell me what you like about this group. Tell me what you don't like. Tell me what you want to add. See what you want. Tell me what you want get to subtract, like that you don't like. And I just wanted as much feedback as possible. And overwhelmingly, the number one thing that I saw and heard from people is that they liked the interviews. They liked seeing other people in other situations doing interviews in this group. And it showed them that, hey, it's not just Nick that can do it. It's not just Porter. It's not just Jerry. It's not just Eugene. It's not just, Shane. It's not just Jeff. Everybody can do it. So we're going to continue to do these interviews. But we are going to be changing a lot of things in this group. And I've been teasing that for a bit, but we've tossed around ideas, and this is going to look very, very different very soon. Okay, so just giving you guys a quick heads up. Okay, so our guest today, I'm gonna bring this guest on. Then we're gonna riff. So I'm gonna bring on Sarah. Sarah.
Hello, can you hear me?
I sure can. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's the middle of the night, so be gentle, but I'm
You
good.
know what? As I saw your face, as your camera came on, I knew that you were in Australia because we brought you in the program, and I'm like, dude, what time? It's like 2 a.m., right?
Yeah, 1:30, yeah, pretty much.
Okay, if you guys are on this call, let's give some shout out to Sarah for being on this call. Thank you so much for being here, and let's do this. Imagine if I accidentally missed this call, how pissed you would have been. So thank goodness I didn't.
I I didn't really want to do it, but I actually feel like this kind of keeps me accountable by being very open with people as to where I'm at. So yeah.
So what part of Australia? Let's just get right into it.
So I'm about an hour south of Sydney, so on the east coast of Australia. I live in the third largest city in New South Wales.
That's crazy. And you've lived there forever?
Um, I've been here for about 20 years. I was actually born in the UK, grew up in Sydney from about the age of 6, and moved down here as a young adult. So,
What part of
yeah.
the UK? London itself?
No, about an hour and a half north of London. I was from Milton Keynes.
Oh, okay. Awesome. So I just want to jump right in because right before you got on the call, I was saying, I'm kind of making a push right now for UK, and I really want to figure out the nuances of the UK. It's the same thing with Australia, right? Like there's just nuances. It's the same principles. You build a website, you rank it, you sell the leads, you rent the site. Same principle, but there are nuances, right? Like
Yep.
it's tree lopping, not tree cutting or tree trimming, right? It's Home Advisor. It's not Home Advisor. What's the competitor?
So High Pages is a big one here. Yeah.
Exactly, right? So they're just these little nuances. So talk to me about doing business. Well, first I should ask, are you getting deals in Australia? Are you focusing on the US? I assume it's Australia.
Yeah, it is Australia. I built one site in the US early on when I was sort of just, figuring out what I wanted to do.
Okay.
And yeah, just went straight away just with the time difference and just building trust with a business owner. It's hard enough to build trust with a business owner that, you at least know the area and you speak the lingo. I just went, nah, I'm going to stick to Australia. I think there's plenty of opportunities here anyway. So, yeah.
Do you feel like people in Australia are less willing, and I know you haven't done a ton of business in the US, but based on what you've heard, do you feel like they're less willing to spend money on their businesses than Americans?
From what I've heard, yeah, it does sound like that.
I've heard too.
Aussies are generally quite laid back. um, so something I've learned with what I'm doing so far is it's very much about finding the right business owner. And I'm realizing that's actually more of a priority than focusing on the city and the niche. I'm actually now almost kind of going really, really target the business owner and find out what they need and then find out the best way I can help them. So yeah, I'm sort of almost changing the way I'm coming at it a little bit.
It's so interesting that you say that. And that's exactly why, unless you do business in the UK, you wouldn't know, right? Because that's a nuance. And I've heard that before. Lee, have you connected with Liam, by the way, Liam Hawkins?
I've seen one of his interviews, but I haven't connected with him yet.
Okay. He told me the
If
exact same
that's the
thing.
guy I'm thinking of, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he used to have long hair. He cut it. I think he's got some tattoos right here on his arm. The same guy you're thinking of. But so Liam, every time we would talk, because I've worked with him like a little bit more intimately, with helping him with his business, and he's been in the group for a long time. But he always would bring this up. He's like, I'm just really trying to find the right business owner, and that is important for me. But I feel like that he kept coming back to that, coming back to that. And so that's something like for me, if I was going into Australia as an American, somebody that lives in the US or lives abroad that has an American accent that knows the US and that's it, I wouldn't know how important that is. But it's so there's these little nuances. So yeah, and the point that I wanted to bring up, and I'm glad that that is the case, is James Moore made a comment. He's in the UK, and he said, "Yeah, and I agree." He said people in the UK are not as willing to spend money on their businesses as people in America. Okay, that's true, but I don't know about you, Sarah, but for me, I would much rather go into an area that's not as competitive, even if I have to look harder for a business owner, because once I get it, then I'm not going to have to deal with all this competition. And so I guess, what have you been doing to find the right business owner? What are some of the things that have shown you, hey, this is the right person, this is the wrong person?
Yeah, so um, learning how to do the screencast, which was something I got out of the program. And I'd already sort of dabbled just based on your free content at putting together a screencast.
Okay.
But I feel like I've definitely honed that a lot better. Putting together that screencast has actually been a way for me to connect with business owners really early on. So what I've done, I've joined a whole lot of Facebook groups, and even just some local sort of networking groups, business networking groups, not as formal as BNI, but sort of
Okay.
smaller things. And just initially just offered to do that free kind of SEO audit of people's websites. So I'm out there first of all just building trust and giving that free value, but in a different way. So I've waited for the people that are saying, we're not having great results. We would like some help. And I go, look, no obligation. I'll have a look at your website and see if there's, and my big thing is see if there's some DIY things you can do with your website or your, online marketing and that. And I can help you out there. So then I'll create a screencast. I'll go through their website. I'll point out some really easy things, headings and subheadings, just basic inclusion of, common keywords, service location. Um, they might not have a clickable phone number, just little things like that. And then I'll also provide them with just some free advice on how they can optimize their own Google business profile.
Smart.
Uh, and then I'll have done a screencast at the end that'll show them how I've worked with one of my rank and rent clients. And so I'll explain to them this is something that I do that's quite unusual. Most other SEOs that you speak to won't necessarily do this. And I sort of say, I offer it. It's a lower cost option to you than me working on your website. And also, I only work on your website for a minimum of a 12-month contract because that's something I do now. I just got the poops with working with SEO clients. So it's a minimum 12-month contract for me to work on someone else's site. But with this, and I'll have done the numbers and worked out it's doable for me to offer that. And that has just been going down really, really well. So what I've found with some people is that they've sort of gone, oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much. I might not hear much for a while, but then I've had people reach out and go, oh, someone mentioned you the other day. So I feel like I'm sowing seeds doing that and it's working really well.
Yeah, so many things I wanted to touch on there. That's such a good strategy that you're doing. And there's a difference, right? There's a difference between saying, let me do a free audit on your website, and then you go and you pitch them right off the bat. They can sense that the free audit wasn't sincere, right? But it's funny when you go, I actually started doing this a few years ago, is if people called me, and this always works when people reach out to you the best, right? hey,
Yeah.
can you get me some this? And you know what I always do? I'd always like almost talk myself out of business. And I would be like, yeah, you know what I'm gonna do? Let me look at your site and let me see if there's like some stuff that you can do on your own that you don't have to pay me for. Right. And that just like some low hanging fruit. And you start going through it and you're like, you could do this, 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 this. And to us, it's simple. And they look at it. And the business owners that you want to work with, you know what they think in their head? They're like, dude, I'm just gonna have this I'm gonna have Sarah. I'm gonna have this guy. I'm gonna have this girl. I'm gonna have them just do it for me because I don't want to deal with it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I use the analogy of it's like servicing your car. So I'll explain it. I'll definitely say, look, this kind of thing, it's not overly technical. If you already can go in and change your opening hours on your website, you could make these changes. And as I'll explain those things to them. But then I say, but you know what? Just like servicing the car, I said, I could learn how to change the oil on my car because I know it's not a hard thing to do. I choose not to. That's something I'm not choosing to do. I have a mechanic. I get my car serviced there. So I'm like, so then it's up to you, whether you want to pay someone to do that. And then obviously I go, then you can pay me for my actual expertise, which is where it goes, a whole lot deeper and proper, more in-depth SEO. But yeah, so I initially started doing your program to the letter a few times, just with the cold calling and everything. And that was really, really hard, but that's been really, really good for my confidence. I can't tell you how much more relaxed I am just about ringing people now. I still get nervous, but I'm not scared anymore. I'm just kind of like meh, So if they're not interested, I just move on. So that's been really good to go through that process, and now I feel like I'm sort of finding my own style that feels even more aligned with me and makes me feel even more comfortable with it. Yeah, so it's definitely still a work in progress.
Yeah, well, but I love what you're doing too, and you guys need to pay attention to what she's doing. She's doing the screencast, and she's offering all this free value, and legitimately saying, "Here, do this, do this, do this on your own." And obviously, you know that I do this as a service. Otherwise, that's how I know this. But do it on your own. And then here's an alternative that's actually cheaper. And in reality, that's the thing that you actually want anyway, is the lead gen. So it's perfect. And the cheaper option is you can just buy the leads directly from me, right? Like, and so you're like literally leading them to exactly what you want them to buy anyway. And I think that's a brilliant strategy. And what you said about sowing seeds, guys, you have no idea when somebody you talked to yesterday is going to turn into a client in 5 years. And I know that sounds like a long ways away, but I have that happen because I've been in this business now for since 2017 properly. So what is that, 7 years? This just happens to me like occasionally. I'll just get a call. Hey, we talked 2 years ago and I wasn't ready at the time. I was going through a divorce, blah, blah, blah. And now I started a new business. Can you get me leads in this? And you're like, dude, I talked to that person so long ago. And so it is about sowing seeds. We just got a deal. Well, we actually haven't even done the deal because I'm not sure if I want to take the deal. I saw somebody at a filling station, right? I was just getting gas and I was actually driving my Lamborghini. And somebody, of course, was like, whoa, what do you do? And I'm like, I sell drugs. Like I did that whole joke, right? Ha ha ha. And I'm like, no, really. I didn't even tell them. But then they're like, no, seriously. So I told them I do leads. That was it. That was the whole thing. And this person, I remember their name because it was very different. And that's all that happened. That's the whole thing, right? Maybe a month ago, um, I have a business Instagram account. I don't really run it. It's my team, but my team is like, hey, this guy reached out. Apparently, he met you at a filling station and he needs leads for his business. And literally, I talked to this person before I left for Africa. This would have been January. We chatted about, what I did, and that's it. That was the whole thing. And he went, looked me up, found me, started following me for 4 months, and now he wants leads. Now, the industry is a little competitive. If anything, I might do an SEO deal, but the point is, you gotta be in this business. Imagine being in this business, Sarah, for like 6 months and then giving up. Like, I think of how many deals I've got from work I did 5 years ago. Like, if you guys would just stick in, I don't care what it is. I don't care if you get on this call and you decide to go open a pizza thing. Stay in the same thing for 5, 10 years and watch how much business you'll get because people be like, oh, that's the lady that does the leads. You know, there's people
Yeah.
watching you right now that are thinking, when I start my business, I know exactly who to call. And it's
Yeah.
talk to me about this 12 month. I want this is kind of going a little bit off, but I do want anyone that's selling SEO to hear what you're saying because I'm the exact same way. I will not do an SEO deal that's less than 12 months. I know this, we're talking about lead gen, but guys, SEO is a great supplementary business. It's what got me out of my job. It's a great business if you guys need quick cash, and it goes hand in hand. So I want to talk about this for a second. Tell me why you only do 12 months and how you pitch it, because I think it's very valuable. And if you guys are doing anything less than a 12-month agreement on SEO, you guys are stupid because you're just wasting your time. Tell them.
Yeah, sure. So I initially used to I'd have people come to me with a, terrible website or no website,
Right.
and they'd say, will you build me a website for my business? And I would have the option of, I can just build you a website and hand it over. I can build your website and literally a real basic sort of maintenance package, keep it updated. That's about it. And I think it was, like an hour's worth of work a month, change one of your team members over in your about page or something like that. And then there was the SEO package, and I think I had two different sort of levels there. Um, but small businesses couldn't understand the value of SEO, and so everyone was just like, "Oh no, just the website." And they, usually had a cousin or a teenage kid or someone who could go in and make the basic updates if they needed.
Yeah.
Um, and my frustration there was because I was building decent WordPress sites that had been set up well for SEO from the very basic bones. I was going to charge more than someone down the road who was going to knock up a very quick Wix site that had no real SEO to it,
Right.
and theirs might still look very pretty, but it didn't have that underlying value in it. And so I found there it was very hard to explain the value I was offering. And, I could build this site and it would start ranking a little bit later, but then I'm not getting the value for that. I just was the person who built the kind of expensive website. And so then I started saying, no, no, it's got to have, I think I used to do like a minimum of 3 months paid SEO afterwards. I'm a chronic undercharger too. That's something mindset wise that I'm struggling with still. But even then, I was kind of like, you put in the really hard yards early on. That's where you do, 80% of the work is in that initial build and those following sort of 3 to 6 months. And then after that, it really is you just, topping it up, feeding it. And I was kind of like, well, that's where you get your real reward later is. And I want that reward. I didn't want to do the 3 to 6 months SEO, and I've set it up really well, and then someone else, I take my foot off the gas, and in 12 months' time, they're going, oh, well, it's going great. I'm glad I'm not paying anyone for it anymore. So it was just to do with that. I just kind of went, no, it's not worth my time. So I won't even build a website without a 12-month SEO package on it. Like I'll build like a one pager for friends. That's no worries, but a proper website for someone, a paid job now, it's a minimum 12-month SEOs attached. And that's why I'm focusing on lead gen instead.
I love that. So I'm gonna be, let's do a role play. I want to hear how you pitch it, right? So you just told me it's 12 months, and I'm like, Sarah, I don't really feel like, I don't like contracts. Is there any way we could do like, month to month?
Yeah. So and again, this is why I hate live. So I'm going
You
to
don't even
fumble,
have
but
to do it.
what
You
I
don't have
do
to do
this
it
in my
live. Just explain to
screencast.
me. You don't have to
I,
properly do it. You could just explain to me how would you respond?
yeah. Yeah, so the way I respond is exactly that. I sort of say SEO is not an overnight strategy. Realistically, the best results I get are gained between that 6 to 12 month mark. But depending on the niche, I can potentially get you ranking in 3 months. But really, it's going to take more than 6 months to see those better results. And so yeah, and I sort of say as well, I'm not knocking up a quick, pretty, website that's that anyone could build through GoDaddy. I explain that I'm building a proper website. I'm putting the work in early on, so that it's sort of the foundations for that next 6 to 12 month period. And yeah, I just kind of go that it is how it is. Like that's if you want a cheap overnight website that probably won't rank. Someone can do it for you for $200, but I'm not that person.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just kind of go, yeah, that's just what SEO is. SEO is not a 2 week. You don't pay someone for 2 weeks to do SEO. But yeah.
And I think when you explain it that way, it logically makes sense. So guys, here's another way. This is what I started doing because I know people for some reason can't wrap their head around 12 months, but like here's what I always say to people, right? In fact, let's do a role play. I'd love to. You want to be the business owner that doesn't want to do the contract?
Okay.
Okay, yeah,
That's
you can
easier.
be super mean to me. So yeah, so Sarah, it's a 12-month agreement, like I told you. It's $2,500 a month, 12-month agreement. At the end of the agreement, obviously I want to keep working with you, but you're gonna own the asset, you're gonna own all, all the work that I do on the website, whatever. So yeah, are you an Amex or a Visa? Let's get this going.
I don't know if I want to be locked in for 12 months. Can we do something a bit shorter?
Okay, and so here's what I would do first. And I would first of all dig into the objection, right? So they're basically objections. So I'd say, okay, so beside, this is sales 101. So Sarah, so like you're saying you have like the contract that's a sticking point for you?
Well, $2,500 a month, and then over 12 months, we're talking over $25,000. That's I want to see a little bit of proof that this is working before I'm going to go locking in for that sort of period of time. So can we do some sort of a shorter trial period?
Yeah, I know. I totally hear you. So let me just get this out of the way to make sure we're on the same page. But apart from just the agreement, which by the way, I'm very flexible. I always say this, I'm very flexible, but really I ain't doing anything but a 12-month. I'm very flexible, like, but besides that, does everything else make sense? That's the only thing. Like, if we can figure that out, then you're good to move forward today, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm tying the objection down, right? I'm removing all the other objections. So, okay, we focused it on that. Okay. And then
No,
I'm
it all
gonna
sounds
go,
really good. I just don't know if I want to go locking in for that long.
okay. And then what I do is I dig into the objection. So tell me, Sarah, have you had like a bad experience with like a TV provider? Like, or is it just like a preference, or have you actually had an experience where you got completely taken on a contract?
Oh, it's just something that I do.
Yeah, this is what everybody says. And then depending on my mood, if I'm not in the mood, you know what I say? I'm like, so you have an iPhone? Yeah. Oh yeah, I saw it. So do you buy that outright? No. Okay, you have a contract. And like, of course you do. You have a house? Did you buy it outright? No. Okay. You do contracts when you need them. That's just how life works, man. You got a car? You buy it cash? No. Okay. So we do contracts, right? And I'll smile as I'm saying this. But really what I get into is once I've tied down the objection, now here's how I explain it. So Sarah, here's the reason I do a 12-month agreement and we don't do anything less. Okay. And by the way, if it's a deal breaker, I've got a Rolodex of 15 people I can send you to that are much cheaper than I am, and you can go talk to them. Right. Again, no fear of loss. Of course, I don't want them to go to them, but that's what I'm going to do. So here's what happened is when I first started this, I realized that every single other person that does SEO, that does services like I do, you know what they do, Sarah? Is they either do a month to month or they do a 3-month agreement. But guess what? If I get you ranked, if I get you to the top of Google, I'm now afraid that you're going to cancel on me because you've gotten what you want, right? That's human nature. And believe me, I know you're going to tell me you're not going to cancel, but as soon as you get to the top of page one, guess what, Sarah? You're going to start wondering what I'm doing. That's the reality. So, like, if I'm on a month to month and all these other companies do it, you know what the game is for all these other companies is they're trying to milk you for as much money as you can and do just enough to keep you happy to keep you as long as possible. There's no incentive for those people to move quickly. There's no incentive for them to rank you because as soon as they rank you, they risk losing you. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, cool. So here's what I do. I've calculated what it's going to cost me. I know the work it's going to cost me. I priced it at $2,500 because it is competitive. I showed you this company, this company, this company. They have old domains, blah, 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 blah. This is going to take work. It's going to take my team. This is something I've been doing for years and years and years. This is what it costs. And so I've already figured out my costs. I do a year contract because guess what? Once it's a year, now I have every incentive. I want to go and I want to rank you. If I can do it in a month, I'm going to do it in a month. If I can do it in 3 months, I'm going to do it in 3 months. I have the incentive now to rank you quickly because I'm still going to make the same money. Does that make sense there? And they're like, yeah, that makes sense. Because if I don't, then guess what? I'm just going to try and do just the bare minimum to keep you for the same 12 months. So if I incentivize myself to move quickly, wouldn't you rather be ranked in 2 months or 6 months and have 6 months at the top of page one than me just getting you ranked at the end of 12 months? Maybe. And so like literally what I just explained to them, like I want to incentivize myself to do things quickly, to do them efficiently, and not have my money at risk. And so that's the
Yeah,
way I explain it. And I've never had any pushback. And then if they're like, yeah, I just don't want to do a contract, I'm like, okay, cool. So let me give you, and I will give them people. I swear to you, I will give them contacts. And of course, they're not going to call them, right? They're just trying to like bluff on me and I'll hang up the phone.
yeah,
Because that's the truth, right? Like these guys,
yeah. You got to be willing to walk away. Yeah.
yeah, who's going to charge? Who can do a month-to-month SEO deal and think they're actually going to get something out of it? And
So that what you talked about with making it about your own incentive, that's actually something I've used with the rank and rent discussions now. So I like being really transparent with my business owners, obviously not telling them too much information, but I am pretty transparent as well. And so it took me a really long time to be sold on pre-selling. And it was just in my head. I liked the idea of rank and rent, but for ages I couldn't get my head around pre-selling because the whole idea of running ads just felt dodgy. I don't know. It just felt like, well, they could run ads, and I couldn't get my head around it. And finally, the penny dropped. It dropped, and sort of my mindset shifted, and it all just makes so much sense now. It just took me a while to get there, but um, early on, I can sort of say to these business owners, that I am going to be supplementing with ads. I use ads early on for data collection as well, that I can, see to do with what people are searching for, what they're clicking on. But also I can explain that it's part of the incentive for me, because I sort of say, I'm charging you this flat fee out of what you're paying me. I'm using that as my ad budget as well. So the incentive for me is to keep working on this website to get it ranking organically in as many search terms as possible, because the less ads I need to rely on, that's just more money back in my pocket. And so even that, as opposed to, well, you're going to be paying me for SEO, and I guess as long as there's some results, I'm just going to keep charging you. I actually say, like, because it's my asset, there's actually more incentive for me, because you're paying me this set fee, a percentage of it's going to ads. Of course, I want to be relying on ads less. I want this website to be getting better and better organically. And I go through the whole explanation of what's organic and what are ads and all that sort of thing. But yeah, that's been something I've used, just to build trust.
I like that. It makes sense. And that's what I love about selling lead generation is it's a logical sell, right? We don't have to get emotional and get them, when I was selling alarm systems, I would have to talk about break-ins and this kind of stuff and whatever, and get them all emotional and then sign here. And at this, it's like just what you said. It's like, okay, you're gonna pay me $1,000. I'm gonna spend as much as I need to keep you happy. So of course I'm incentivized to get you ranked. Of course, right? And so, but I do want to touch on one thing that you said, because I think this question comes up all the time. And I want to know how you resolved it in your brain. Why do you now think it's not dodgy to run ads? Because I mean, realistically, the business owner could run their own ads. Like how, and I know my answer and I'm going to share it, but like why, what finally clicked for you?
So a couple of things. First of all, is just that I didn't know how to run ads until I did your program. So I know how to do organic SEO, but ads is just something I touched on, but I really didn't get it. And I didn't have the time or inclination to really learn it either. And, as you've spoken about, spend a whole lot of money learning how to do ads. So that was part of my whole incentive of wanting to get on the paid program. And that has been gold, learning that. But I think the big hesitation with the pre-selling, just that idea of like a one pager on ads and that's what I'm going to them with, just felt, yeah, shonky.
Yeah.
And but I've actually now realized, just through a couple of one pages that I've run in areas where, say, there were plenty of search volume, I was getting a ton of leads, but there was no demand from business owners. They're all booked out 3-4 months ahead. I would not have realized that until I'd built and ranked these sites. That would have taken forever.
Yeah.
And so I've been able to test a couple of different areas and learnt different things about them through running ads that, oh, what a time saver. So yeah, so I don't feel like it's dodgy to the business owner, because I can explain it of I can best use a budget and get, squeeze every drop of juice out of that budget to, first of all, get data to make us be able to come at this with the best approach, but also to get you as many clicks as possible in that budget. You know, and I'll say to them, I said, you've probably seen it before. You've seen ads for a business and you click on it and they're 600 kilometers away.
Yep.
And because they haven't set it up properly, you know, they're paying for these ads to be displayed in useless places. And yeah,
One thing that we forget is we assume that because we assume that a business owner could go and turn on ads and get results.
yeah,
And it's so false. Imagine us who have taken other programs, who have read books, who have been on these calls, who understand the lingo way more than these business owners. We still struggle with ads. We're assuming, oh, just be like, oh, I can run ads. Why wouldn't Jack? Let Jack go run ads. And guess what? He's not going to get any results. He's just going to waste his money. So sometimes we assume that because a business owner is running ads, like I've heard people go, why would I call somebody that's running ads when I'm just going to be running ads in the beginning? Because you're assuming that because he's running ads, he's getting results, and he's not.
yeah,
I promise he's not. Because even me that knows how to do them, I still get frustrated with these stupid ads because they're tough, right? And
yeah,
so
yeah,
you have to remember that's A, just because they're running ads doesn't mean they're getting results. In fact, I guarantee they're not. And number two is business owners don't care how they get the leads. We think that oh, it's got to be on a website, it's got to be organic. Guess what? I make this joke all the time. I promise you, they would not care as long as it was ethical. If you put up a sign somewhere, they don't care where they come from. As long as these leads convert and they're ethical, they do not care. And a lot of times we're like, they're going to be weird about the ads. They don't care. Trust me.
yeah,
They just want leads. They want to make money. They want to grow so they can take care of their family. They have dreams, goals, aspirations, just like the rest of us. They need leads to hit those, and we can provide those leads. Whether we twirl a sign on the street corner, put up a billboard, this just happens to be the most predictable way to do it with leverage. That's it. And
Well,
we're
I'm blown away as well with how much money some business owners are spending on ads.
crazy.
Like, yeah, like just thousands and thousands a week on ads. And that in itself, and that's just been through getting more confident and just talking to more people. And again, like I said, through just this offering free advice has enabled me to just have all these conversations with people and find out what their profit margins are and what an average job's worth with no real pitch or anything in there, but just, yeah, building trust and just talking to people. And um, it's much less stressful for me because I'm not going in there to necessarily sell them something, but I'm getting so much out of it. And yeah, I've been blown away with what people are spending on this, but that's helping with my confidence at being able to come at them with a price as well. Because yeah, and then knowing that within that I can get them some results with ads and think of what they were spending before and potentially getting hardly any results. You know,
It's so
yeah,
nice to be able to know that, like, let's say my site's ranking organically and I'm not even running ads, but to know that, let's say it gets a little slow, it gets to be Christmas time, it gets to be the winter. I can artificially turn those on and give myself a little bit of a boost, just like that. That's such a
yeah.
good, comforting feeling. But so, real quick, Sarah, tell everyone. So, where are you at in your business right now per month in terms of revenue, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, no, you're right. So I'm at a bit over $2,000 a month. I was at I was at 2,800, and I actually just had a client cancel on me, but it's because they've got too much work coming in. So it's for the best reasons.
Is it a
They
lead
were kind
gen
of like,
site?
oh,
Was it SEO deal
sorry,
or a lead gen?
lead gen. This was lead gen, and this was from before I learned how to do due diligence. So these sites were not in areas where there was great search volume, but I built two of them and we're leasing the two sites to this business owner. And amongst the two, as the combo, that was working okay. But yeah, they initially were really struggling, wanting more work, and now they're booked out. And they came at me and they were like, "Oh, this isn't goodbye forever. Like we've been so happy with it, but we just..." And again, I hadn't learnt due diligence early on about finding, the hungry business owner and all that sort of thing. And to be honest, they were, as far as they really wanted the work coming in, but they're not in a capacity to be able to grow any further than what they're at the moment. So yeah, they were, really happy with the result, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, we'll give you some good reviews and that sort of thing." So that's good. And now I've actually just gone, all right, well, what else can I do with those sites now? Maybe I can find someone new and charge just a little bit more as well. So I'm not worried about losing that one. I know I know I'll just resell it. But yeah, so if I factor that one back in, I'm at just under 3. But yeah, this has been just in the last 2 weeks they cancelled.
That it happens. And that's the beauty of the of lead generation. If that was an SEO deal, guess what? That's gone. You're not going to replace
Yeah, that's
that.
right.
You're zero. You have nothing to show. Now you have a site. Maybe you didn't do the due diligence perfect, but now you have something you can go and sell. And so that's to me, that's the most comforting feeling in the entire world. And also keep in mind, guys, that happens. I had a tree service client here locally. We killed it for them. We crushed it. We were doing 25, 30 leads a month. They were happy. I signed this deal right in the middle of the whole pandemic. They were with
Yep.
us over 3 years. And they just called us one day and they're like, we have a ton of work. We're busier than we can handle. And we want to move a little bit of a different direction with our marketing. And I was like,
Yep.
there's nothing I could do. I was like, okay, good luck. And we're still friends on Facebook. I still, see them. We're still cool. It just happens and it is what it is. But I had the asset and we were able to re-rent it, which is the beautiful part. We have the asset.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so I did do an interview with Porter really early on when we joined the program. And I'm going to be full honest on here. So we got our first proper deal, using your method. And I was stoked. We just had the closing call with the business owner. That one thing I have noticed about Aussies, they do not want to hand their credit card over, at least until maybe you've been working with them for a few months.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, that's cool. I can invoice you. Like, all good.
Yeah.
I have learnt a lot. But with him,
I
he
already know
was
what you're
super.
gonna say.
Yeah. So he ghosted. Yeah. He was super in, he was like, yep, I'll off phone, we've got it. Yep. He's texting me afterwards, oh, this is gonna be great, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, and then Porter was like, we want to get you fresh while you're really pumped up, get you on the call. And so we did the call and he just didn't pay. And I felt really embarrassed because I'd been on this call and I was saying to everyone, yeah, I got this deal and crickets. That site is it's ranking organically for a few search terms, but the response on that site to ads is huge. So it literally is like turning on a tap with the ads on that. So I initially went and pitched a few other business owners, and I had a few ghost me and a few knock me around with that, and then my confidence had been smashed a bit. So I've turned the ads off on that one and just parked it and moved on to some other things that were feeling more positive. I am going to go back to that one, and I'm pretty confident I'll resell it because when the ads are on, it pumps. Like it's a really good niche and city combo. So I am confident I will sell that, but yeah, I have to be upfront and honest about that one. A lot of learning.
We appreciate it, and it happened to me. That's why for me, like if I'm on the call, I have to, and I've done trainings, and there's a training I did inside of Digital Landlords. It's called Drill the Hole. You should go watch it, and it talks about like I don't care if it's $100. I just got to get that credit card on file before I can really feel good about that deal because I just know how these things go. Right? They could be a 10 out of 10 excited. And these people will flake on you. I've had people give me their entire credit card and then the last digit they hung up. We had a guy the other day. Me and Kyle were on a call and he jumped on and he's like, yeah, okay, sounds good. And I hopped off the call. Kyle was finishing it up and Kyle calls me like 2 minutes later. He's like, yeah, he started fidgeting with his phone and just hung up. Like he couldn't even
Yeah,
tell us no. I'm like, okay, well, I guess what it happens. So I appreciate your honesty, and that's guys, it's gonna happen. That's part of the business. If you knew how many deals I've lost at the closing table because of this, that, or the rest, the baby started crying, or the husband came home ornery, or this or that, and I should have done instead. I said, you're gonna lose deals. It's part of the game. You're gonna learn, and
yeah,
it is what it is. But the beautiful part about this whole thing is that we can literally, this is what gets me so excited. We'll end with this is that we're sitting here right now. You're in Australia. I'm in the US, but I was in London and I was in Africa. Like we could do this from anywhere. You can do as many of these as you want. They don't cost that much to build. I mean, every person I tell this business model to, Sarah, every person, they're like, that's so, I was on a call yesterday. I'm doing an interview podcast in a couple weeks. This person he's done some really big names. Like this person knows business, right? He's done millions and millions of dollars. And so we're doing this podcast. So he's calling me. We're doing like an intro. He's kind of learned about my business, and he's like, dude, that's so smart. And he's telling me about his, and the whole time I'm thinking, dude, you don't have any assets. Like making money. And every person I ever tell this to, they have no idea what rank and rent means. They don't know what I mean by digital real estate, but every time I explain it, like that's such a genius business model. I'm like, I can't take credit. It's so stupid. It's so simple. But I'm telling you guys, for those of you that are on this call, are like, oh, I missed the boat. It's too late. No, it's just getting started, dude.
Yeah, I still haven't met a human being in the flesh that has heard of this model. And
Right?
same thing, they just go, oh, like, yeah, it's
Makes sense.
everyone's sort of gobsmacked by it. And it's
And they
definitely
always give
not
you credit.
saturated.
They're like, how'd you think of that? You're like, well,
Yeah.
I just
Yeah. I said it's a thing.
it's a thing. Yeah, I always want to take it too. I always want to be like, well, I was sitting there having coffee one day, but truthfully, I just bought a program. That's that's the truth. But anyway, Sarah, thanks for jumping on. Go to bed. It's 2:10. I hope you didn't take any coffee to
Yeah.
stay up.
I felt like I had to come and clear my name. So I was like, I'm going to be upfront and honest with everyone. And I don't announce anything until there's money in the strike account.
Hey, we forgive you. And once you get that deal, once you sell that side again, I want you to make a big post about it, and you can mention that you lost it and you got it back. So, but thank you so
I
much.
will.
Thank you for getting
All
on
right.
this hour, and let's go make some money. Thanks, Sarah. See you guys.
There you guys. Bye.